You are listening to the Beyond Believing podcast. I am your host, Katie Ann. I am a certified life coach, a divorced mom to 5 amazing children, and I am here to share some love and encouragement with you about healing and moving on post-divorce as a Christian woman. Stick around after the show for some details on how we can work together. You are listening to the Beyond Believing podcast, episode number 45. All right, welcome, my friends, to episode 45 of the Beyond Believing podcast. If you are new here, I am Katie Ann. Today, I am calling our episode, What If? Before I get started, I'm going to do a quick reminder. I am still taking new women for my brand new case study I'm calling Selah Healing. It's designed just for divorced Christian women. It's 12 weeks of private coaching with me. We're getting real clear on the life we want to create post-divorce and specifically attracting the love again post-divorce that you're looking for. You can find all of the details in my show notes. I'm only taking a handful of women. I'm only going to be offering this program for a limited time, so come and join me while you still can. You can find the links for my case study, my new TikTok account, my YouTube and Patreon pages in the show notes, so come follow along there. I have set up a space on my Patreon page as well to accept sponsorships for divorced Christian women that I'm working with who are unable to pay for the resources that I'm providing. So if you'd like to sponsor or help sponsor a woman to be able to go through my program without any cost to them, you can do that there. Those are not yet tax deductible, my friends, but I am hoping to have that set up really soon. And I am still taking prayer requests. Please reach out to me on any of the above platforms. Let me know how I can pray for you in this season. It is an absolute honor and privilege to get these requests, so please keep them coming. The conversations and the women that I get to meet and interact with just fill my cup, my friends, and my heart just goes out to you. Of course, you're always in my prayers in a general sense. I'd love to just be specific with you. And it just truly is the greatest honor getting to hear from you and getting to connect with you and getting to pray for you. So please keep those coming. All right. What if? All right. Now, this came to me the other day because I was kind of in my own little thought spiral land. I was kind of stuck in this little what if pity party for myself the other day. And it reminded me of a coaching lesson that I had with my coach several years ago when I had first fallen into the lap of coaching, in the realm of coaching. And this just blew my mind. And I realized the other day that I was in this same little pattern and I kind of had to remind myself what I was doing and that I didn't really want to be there. So we get stuck in the what if, usually on a negative connotation. We usually are thinking of what if something is going to go wrong. In the realm of post-divorce, finding love again, I hear, what if I attract the same man again? What if I get hurt? What if I choose quote unquote wrong again? What if my children get hurt? What if I'm quote unquote too much? What if I'm alone forever? What if I am the problem? What if I can't overcome my fears? What if it's hard? What if I've missed my opportunity? What if I can't find a godly man? And on and on. These are just some of the ones that I have heard specifically in conversations working with women. I'm going to get into later where this takes us. But what if can also be a positive connotation. We can also look at the positive side of what if in the unknown, because none of us know the future, my friend. But what if it all works out better than you can imagine? What if God is working behind the scenes? What if you're exactly where God wants you to be? What if you have more work to do that is really satisfying and rewarding? What if God is not withholding any promises from you, but preparing you for His promises? What if God is preparing you for something higher and holier than you have already been through? What if God is using this divorce and this season post-divorce to show you how to lean on Him, to trust in Him, to show you just what a godly, biblical love truly looks like? Like I shared on my Finding Love Again, what if God is preparing you and your Boaz for a redemption story that is bigger than just you and your Boaz. Doesn't that blow your mind? There is some really amazing possibilities in future for you. We're going to dig into the differences there in just a few minutes. But this last week, I was reading Psalm 59. And as I was reading this psalm, I just couldn't help but think about how this relates to our thoughts. So this is a psalm from David about deliverance from his enemies. And I just couldn't help but think that how this relates to our thoughts. We know we're supposed to take every thought captive. In 2 Corinthians 10:5, it says, we destroy arguments even in our own minds, not necessarily with other people. We destroy arguments and every lofty opinion raised against the knowledge of God, and we take every thought captive to obey Christ. That is powerful, friends. We need to take every thought captive because we want to obey Christ and have the knowledge of God in us. We can't have the knowledge of God with us if we're not taking the deceptions in our mind, the lies in our mind, captive. We know we're supposed to be putting on the helmet of salvation as part of the armor of God in Ephesians 6. We know that our thoughts and our hearts deceive us, but how often do we put this into practice in our lives? Do you truly believe you are allowing yourself to be deceived by your thoughts? What if you read this passage, Psalm 59, inserting quote unquote your thoughts in place of where it says enemies or them or those? So I'm going to read this to you. Psalm 59. I'm just going to add in thoughts here. I did this last week or 2 weeks ago or something. This was just such a reminder to me who I was obeying. What power was I really giving in my life? So it says, Psalm 59, my friends, deliver me from my enemies, oh my God. Deliver me from my thoughts. Protect me from those, my thoughts, who rise up against me. Deliver me from those, the thoughts, who work evil. Save me from the thoughts of bloodthirsty men, for behold, they lie in wait for my life. Fierce men, my thoughts, stir up strife against me. For no transgression or sin of mine, O Lord, for no fault of mine, they run and make ready. Awake, come to me and see, you, Lord God of hosts, our God of Israel. Rouse yourself to punish all the nations. My thoughts, spare none of those, my thoughts, who treacherously plot evil. Selah. Each evening they, my thoughts, come back, howling like dogs and prowling about the city. There they, my thoughts, are bellowing with their mouths with swords in their lips. For who they, my thoughts, think, will hear us? But you, O Lord, laugh at them, my thoughts. You hold all of the nations, my thoughts, in derision. O my strength, I will watch for you. For you, O God, are my fortress. My God in his steadfast love will meet me. God will let me look in triumph on my enemies, my thoughts. Kill them not, lest my people forget. Make them totter by your power and bring them down, O Lord, our shield. And side note, do you really believe that God is your shield? Like, that is powerful, okay? All right, continuing on. For the sin of their mouths, the words of their lips, let them be trapped in their pride, my thoughts. For the cursing and lies that they, my thoughts, utter, consume them in wrath. Consume them till they are no more, that they may know that God rules over Jacob to the ends of the earth. Selah. Each evening they, my thoughts, come back, howling like dogs and prowling about the city. They wander about for food and growl if they do not get their fill. But I will sing of your strength. I will sing aloud of your steadfast love in the morning, for you have been to me a fortress and a refuge in the day of my distress. O my strength, I will sing praises to you, for you, O God, are my fortress, the God who shows me steadfast love. That is Psalm 59, verses 1 through 17. Your greatest battle, my friend, is always going to be the one going on in your own mind. The greatest struggle you will have finding love again, a true godly relationship, is not in the finding of it. It will be in the keeping of it. It will be in the not sabotaging it. It will be when you have been in toxic relationships, finding peace in the safety and security of a healthy one. It will be in believing that you are worthy and deserving of it, that it is truly yours. Several months ago, I bought a new car. It was still cold enough that the overnight lows dipped close to freezing, which caused the windshield washer fluid in my car to freeze. Now, with the cold weather warming up, the ground starts to defrost, causing mud and more dirt and just messiness on my car and specifically my windshield. Well, my windshield had gotten fairly dirty and I was trying to use my washer fluid to clean it off while I was driving down the road one day, but it wouldn't come out. I thought that maybe the little sprayers or something were broken because it was a new to me car, forgetting that it was cold enough the washer fluid might be frozen. And if I just waited until it warmed up a little bit, I could use it. I just thought it was broken and I just continued to drive with a dirty windshield. My eyes eventually adjusted to looking through this dirty windshield because it's just getting more and more dirty as the days are going on. I was driving and thought I was seeing clearly enough. I thought, this is okay. It's fine. And this went on for several days because as soon as I would get out of my car, I would forget about needing to check the washer fluid until I got back in my car to drive again, which I never allowed enough time to check on that washer fluid before I needed to leave. Like, you know where I'm going, right? Right, moms? You know what I'm talking about. I had just gotten used to driving with a dirty windshield. One afternoon, as I'm driving, I decided to try using the washer fluid again. To my surprise, it worked. Then I realized, oh my goodness, the washer fluid probably was just cold when I was trying to use it, and I could have tried using it any afternoon previously that I had been driving to clean it, and then it would have worked just fine. But instead, I drove around for days, maybe even a week or more, friends, embarrassingly enough to say, with this dirty windshield. And then once it was clean, I realized how dirty it actually had become and how skewed my perception of the dirt had become. I had become so used to this dirty windshield, I just thought, I can see good enough. But then as soon as it was clean, I was like, oh my gosh, that was really bad, actually. Our thoughts are like this, friends. We get so used to carrying around a belief or a thought that we think we are seeing everything clearly or clearly enough. It isn't until we clean up our thoughts or have a new belief through the lens of God that we realize we had the wrong perspective all along. The powerful lesson here is that in order to clean up our thoughts, we have to become aware of the ones we are carrying around, and you can't change something you're not aware of. We don't naturally learn how to be aware of our thoughts and our beliefs. We always need help pointing them out, and we don't realize how much more clearly we can be looking through our life when we have the lens of God with us, until we start taking captive those thoughts and start believing the thoughts that bring us clarity from God. If that all sounds very vague and obtuse, I'm going to clear it up for you. In all of our spinning in these what ifs that can go wrong in our lives, we're carrying around thoughts that keep us stuck in indecision, confusion, and overwhelm. None of those are fruits of the Spirit, my friends. None of them are empowering or motivating. We literally just stay stuck doing nothing, and we feel terrible because we know something's supposed to be happening and we're just waiting for some other circumstance or some other person to come along and clear it all up for us. But if you really want to attract a godly relationship post-divorce, indecision, confusion, and overwhelm do not lead you to become a confident, powerful, godly, attractive woman of God to a man of God. Because this is reality, my friends. A godly relationship isn't going to make you quote unquote whole. It isn't going to complete you or heal you or bring you more worth or value. It isn't even going to make you feel more loved in the long term. I was listening to the Set Apart podcast by Leslie Ludy this last week about honorable womanhood. She titled it The Secret to Relational Success. And of course, I just had to hear what she had to say. And it was amazing. I will share the link in my show notes. She shared how she and her husband, who have been married for 30 years now, have never found themselves in a season of discontent with each other or disillusionment or thoughts of like, did I actually marry the wrong person here? She hears those thoughts and those feelings from so many married men and women express that they're dealing with those experiences. This is what I loved about what she shared, that their secret was not in having more date nights or having frequent date nights or making sure to have quote unquote connection time or any specific to-dos that they followed or even absolutes. While they do practice those things, which she emphasizes are important to have and do to maintain a strong relationship with each other, she said that isn't the secret though to them never feeling disillusioned with each other. She said that secret for them having that strong, confident relationship with each other and the feeling of connection and oneness and peace and contentment has been in making Christ the source of their hope, the source of their love, and the source of their strength in their marriage. And this is what I want to share with you today. Your relationship with Christ is always going to have to be your top priority. Today, tomorrow, in 10 years, in 20 years, when you are in a relationship with a godly man, if you do end up finding a godly relationship and then becoming married again or not, while you are single and even after you find a godly relationship, because even though you may find a man of God, he cannot be your source of hope. He cannot be your source of strength or your source of love for yourself, because your hope, your strength, your ability to feel loved comes from God, my friends. 1 John 4 teaches us all about the love of God, our ability to love, to receive love, and the source of our own love for others is from God. Starting in verse 7, he says, "Beloved, let us love one another, for love is from God, and whoever loves has been born of God and knows God." Verse 11 says, "Beloved, if God so loves us, we also ought to love one another." Verses 15 and 16 say, "Whoever confesses that Jesus is the Son of God, God abides in him and he in God. So we have come to know and to believe that the love God has for us, God is love. And whoever abides in love abides in God, and God abides in him." And verse 18, "There is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear. For fear has to do with punishment, and whoever fears has not been perfected in love." This does not say we come to know and believe love man has for us. It says the love God has for us. Our love for others and ourselves is a reflection of the love of God within us. It does not come from another human, my friend. It comes from God. You are going to have to decide to believe you are worthy of love, because you are. And then you have to live in that, regardless of who comes along in your life. And the enemy is going to challenge that belief continually. Verse 18 of this passage is one of my favorites and a powerful reminder that love does not reside in fear. And fear is not from God, because God is perfect and so is his love. While you are entertaining any of these what ifs in a negative scenario that could possibly go wrong in your future, you are entertaining some version of fear in your life. You are essentially saying to God, this is too hard for you to take care of in my life. But God reminds us in Genesis, is anything too hard for the Lord? And again in Jeremiah, nothing is too hard for you. That includes whatever obstacle you are facing in your life, including the belief that you are worthy of a godly relationship, that you are worthy of a godly love, including a belief of anything, my friend. I said it before and I'm going to say it again. I'm pretty sure there are no problems in God's world. And you, my friend, are a part of God's world. There is nothing he has not already written, nothing he does not know about, no solution he does not already have ready, no plan that is not complete. There is no answer he does not give or have. Just because it isn't happening your way doesn't mean it isn't his. What if all God has planned for you is just waiting for you to decide it is already yours and then to live like it is? Okay, I'm going to give you just an example about decisions, okay? When I found out I was pregnant with my oldest child, who just turned 19, by the way, and I'm just kind of freaking out about it. It's a whole nother thing. But when I found out I was expecting with her, I had struggled with my weight and my body image and my health my entire teenage years, my entire life. And I just decided I was not going to do this whole belief of I have to have a mom bod because I have a child. I decided that I could be healthy and strong and in shape even as a mom. And so I figured out how many extra calories I needed. I figured out what that actually looked like. I figured out what I could and could not do for exercise. And then I followed that. And I had to kind of learn and adjust it as I went along. I figured out how much weight is actually appropriate for my size and my age and my ability. And then what can I do to take care of my health, to be strong and healthy for my baby, so I could enjoy my life as a mom, as an individual, and still be a mother. And then I followed that. And then again, when I was 31-ish, I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, and I have a daughter who's profoundly deaf. She only uses American Sign Language to communicate. And when I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, I woke up and my fingers were just stiff and I couldn't bend them. So I couldn't even bend my fingers to communicate with my daughter. Now, she was only 4 at the time. And the look on her face when she realized that I was unable to bend my fingers to communicate with her, and I had just realized I can't bend my fingers to communicate with her, is an image in my mind that will live forever. And I decided right then and there, whatever was going on with me, I was not going to let that be an option. And when I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis and given all of these options about what I can do and can't do, I was like, there is not an option on this planet where I will not be able to use my fingers to communicate with my child. And then I into research, what are some options for me? What are some treatment options? What can I do? And I just decided I was going to be able to communicate with my child. And I understand, friend, that it doesn't feel that simple. And maybe those feel like extreme examples. But what I want you to understand is your quality of relationships with yourself, with God, with your children, with a future godly relationship are also very important. It is a powerful decision for you to be able to create in your own life, and you do have that power and that choice. It is all work, friend. It is all quote unquote hard in some way. In fact, I decided this last week, I was just going to stop telling myself things are quote unquote hard because it's just life. Learning, growing, stretching, being refined is work, friend. But that doesn't mean it isn't from God. It's supposed to be uncomfortable. It's supposed to stretch you. You are supposed to learn how to do new things you've never done before. What if everything is exactly the way God has written it for you to be? I promise that if you will step into this space, you will find more peace, more strength, more hope, and more love than you can ever imagine. And if all of that feels like too big of a leap for you, just get curious by asking yourself, what if that is true? Or how might this actually be true? And just surrender to what God will show you and teach you. Okay, one last thought. One of my songs on my morning playlist is More Than Able by Elevation Worship with Chandler Moore. And as I was listening to this the other morning, this specific line caught my attention. It says, "Why do I talk myself out of seeing miracles?" I know I've listened to this so many times, but the other morning I just was like, why do I talk myself out of seeing miracles? Why am I doing that to myself in my own life? And friend, what if God is just waiting for you to surrender to seeing the miracles He has written in your life? Again. Or for the first time, seeing it for yourself. God can truly redeem all things. And one last side note, singleness is not inferior to being in a relationship, okay? I listened to this great sermon from Philip Anthony Mitchell called Marriage, Divorce, and Singleness. I will also link that in my show notes for you because it blew my mind about the perspective of a biblical divorce, singleness, and marriage. One of the best things you can do to start believing new things about finding and attracting a godly relationship is to fill your mind with godly truth. Focus on what you are doing to become the godly woman a truly godly man is looking for. I promise, my friend. His arrival in your life will no longer be the desire of your heart when you do this. When the desire of your heart is just to be with God and to be whoever He wants you to be, it truly will not matter anymore whether or not you have a physical relationship or not. Because in the end, if God isn't everything, nothing will ever be enough for you. Even in a relationship, even when you're in a relationship and you've been married for 30 years, like Leslie Ludy said, every single day, your hope and your strength and your desire has to be with God, whoever He wants you to be. Every single day. It doesn't end when you find a relationship. It just continues and changes. And you have to continue to put in the effort to build the relationship with God so that His love can fill you instead of looking to a man to fill you. Because reality is that man is not God. He is not capable of filling you and loving you like God does. But His love will remind you of the love of God. The love that my Boaz has to share with me reminds me and points me to the love God has for me. Not because he's perfect, but because he is striving to follow and find and be filled with the love of God. So he is sharing with me the love of God that is in abundance from him. And in return, I share the love of God that is in an abundance from me. But neither one of us can do that when we're putting our hope in each other, filling ourselves and filling up our love the way we want it to be, because we're human. We cannot read each other's minds. We have different perspectives. We have different personalities. We are different genders and we are wired very differently. Only God can create the bond that is truly lasting, that is truly godly, that is truly biblical, that is truly going to point you to him. You've got to figure out how to find it and have it fill you in this season in order to bring it into the next one, my friend. I promise it's worth every effort. Have a great day. You have been listening to the Beyond Believing podcast, and if you liked anything you heard today, I want to invite you to come and work with me privately. This month, I'm starting up a brand new Selah Healing case study group, and I'm looking for a handful of new women to mentor and work closely with. This invitation is very time sensitive, and I won't be able to offer this kind of personalized coaching and access to me for much longer. If this sounds like something you are interested in, find all the details at the link in my bio. I can't wait to hear from you.